There are people out there who look just like her. Annie wants to find out when a car suddenly appears and crashes into her, but her brother saved her just in time. By now, Anna is long gone. Her mother told her not to wander around. The next day, Annie received a tip from her best friend that her fiancé and Linda had spent the night at the hotel. The two had walked out together, so Annie followed them in her car. She wanted to see what they could do. At a traffic light, Annie's brightly colored car still gave her away. Jack recognized her immediately, so he took her up to the cottage on the hill. Jack stayed inside with a fire and a cup of tea, and Annie thought she was waiting for Linda. She watched out of the window. She didn't see Linda until nightfall. Then the lights in the house suddenly came on. Annie peeked in through the window, but there was no one there. The sudden appearance of Jack startled Annie, calling her into the house, explaining that he had nothing to do with Linda. If he did, he wouldn't be stupid enough to let her find out. Annie didn't like it when she heard that. She was furious and tried to leave, but Jack dragged her to the bed and held her down. Frightened, Annie struggled. In her desperation, she bit Jack hard. He bounced away with a scream. Annie was furious at him for being so rude to her, but Jack said we were all the same. He clearly didn't like him. She was pestering him for the status of Chui's daughter-in-law. Annie was speechless at his comment. On the way home, a woman in white suddenly appeared. Annie is frightened and returns to the villa. Excuses that she hasn't eaten her bowl of rice. After the meal, she asks Jack to wash the dishes. Jack is reluctant. Accidentally spilled soup on Annie's clothes. She had to take off her clothes to wash them. When she got up, she stepped on the soap and fell on the floor. The screaming caused Jack to break right through the door. When he saw that Annie couldn't move, he called the emergency services. He then got some clothes to help him change, but Annie asked for the lights to be turned off and her eyes closed. She arrived at the hospital and was treated and was fine. Annie wanted to go to the bathroom. Jack found a wheelchair, straight into a princess hug. He placed Annie on the wheelchair. The intimate contact made Annie's heart beat faster. Waking up the next day to find Jack by her side all night, he was so touched. When he took Annie home from the hospital, Mike ran down to check on her nervously. He was relieved to hear that he was okay. Annie let go of Jack's hand and took her brother home. Jack said the noblewoman wanted to invite them to dinner, and a poor girl didn't speak Japanese. She finds an excuse to turn down the invitation. She finds Lisa and tells her troubles, and said that Jack had once said she had a schoolboy body. So Lisa suggested that she change her image and style. She was instantly dressed as a rebellious girl, and before she could rejoice, Linda came to Lisa's door. She asked what was going on, didn't recognize Annie in her makeup at all, so she ran away. On her way home she was almost hit by a car. When the driver got out of the car, it was Jack. He came with a cake to apologize to Annie. He found out that Annie hadn't come back yet. He was going to wait at the door. Annie had to go over the wall and enter the house, and Jack suddenly realizes that the girl he just saw is Annie. He came around the corner and shouted